Hey up YouTube, so in this video today I want to have a chat with you all about the exterior cleaning business. Just drop an update on it and just tell you where it is. Now admittedly it's not doing what it should be doing, or I'm not doing what I should be doing with the exterior cleaning business, and it has took a little bit of a hit, and it's also took well, it's not been put on the back burner, but well, you'll see where it is as we get going along, and I'll cover it all again as we get going along. I think the first thing as well, so originally I started it as a winter hustle, and I think that's what it's primarily going to turn into, but at the same time it's not dead in the water. It's just I've set myself goals and I wanted to see a sort of an increase year in year out, and so far it's performing worse than this time last year, well at this point in time anyway, and I know why, and I'll explain to you. It's not, you know, that it's doing well, you know, it's not that it's doing unwell, you know, because of what I've done, and you know, it's failed and I'm going to give up on it. Nothing of the sort. It's just, it's time and it's limiting factors. It's a lot of different things that have sort of hampered it, but there's good things that have hampered it as well, and I'll explain as we get going along. So number one is I've not really advertised it at all, which is annoying, but it depends how you look at it. So I've not really advertised it. Well, I pulled the advertisement out about 2 or 3 months ago. So originally I used to advertise for the exterior cleaning and the gardening, and the thing is, when I first started the winter hustle, the exterior cleaning business, the advertising was dirt cheap. It was like £100 for 2 adverts for a month. It was like £13 a week each. It was nothing, it really wasn't. But then that paper ended up going, and a new paper wants £375 for the same thing, and if anything it's worse, because it's a paper that's read more by one area, and it's, you know, it does cover my area that I live, but it's like the main area is, you know. So I found when I was advertising in that paper, I was getting work, but it was work that was not in my area. So the work that I was getting, I was losing money on it straight away, because I was having to travel to go and price up this work, and then if I got the work, well, it got difficult. It really did, and it's like I said, it's just one of those things. So I pulled the advert because I had enough work on. So originally in April, the work that it did generate, it did help to sort of top the books up a little bit, but it didn't pay for itself. The advert didn't, especially on the exterior cleaning side. Pretty much all of that 370 quid it's weird, because to put an advert to one advert and then to put another advert in, it's not much more, which I think's really strange. It's like another 80 quid to put the same advert for the same amount of weeks. I think they're just filling their space up, and you know, they're just selling it off cheap, but you're actually getting sort of, you know, you're paying a lot to get it in there in the first place. So the work that it was bringing in, it just wasn't paying for itself. And this is why I say there's good things that are stopping it, but also bad things. So I made a decision at the end of April to not advertise at all. So I pulled the advert down. So for May, June and now July, I've not had any advertising at all for the exterior cleaning and the gardening. And the thing is, as well, is it's not affected the gardening at all. If anything, the gardening business is the best it's ever been. I think the advert that has been taken down has been replaced by word of mouth recommendations, walk up work, and also people who keep the advert. I have quite a lot of people that still ring up because they've kept the advert, they've kept the paper, they've kept the clipping because they might need a gardener in the future. And this is what I say about newspaper ads. I think they're one of the longest lasting. Yeah, people think, oh well, you know, it's chip paper next week. Well, it is, but the amount of people that take cuttings out of papers, it's, you know, it's quite a lot. It really is, considering, you know, you'd think that it's a bit of an old-fashioned sort of thing. People do take clippings all the time, and they sort of keep them, you know, for when they need them. I've had people ring me up for gutters like 3 or 4 months after the advert's been gone in. They've said, oh, I've kept the advert from the Voice, and it's like, well, bloody hell, you know, I've not advertised for them for months. And they're like, yeah, well, we keep it just in case. So it is worth it. So that was the sort of the limiting factor, where the gardening business is just, and I've always said that the exterior cleaning takes, I think you can earn a lot more off the cleaning than you can the gardening. That's my personal opinion, but at the same time, it's a gamble. You've got to pay money to get that back. Now, I am looking into other things for winter, and I'll explain that as we get going along. But before I even get work, I've got to spend just under 400 quid. So then what work that I do get from that ad, it's got to pay, and it's all one-off work. And this is the thing, yes, I'm getting the gardening one sort of thrown in at the same time, but admittedly it's costing me just under 400 quid to get work from another area that I'm going to have to travel for. And it's the same with the exterior cleaning work. The exterior cleaning work I was getting, I was having to drive 25 minutes, 35 minutes to go and price it up. And then, yeah, if I got it. But there was just so much travel time involved. So it's like I said, there's that as well. Really, you know, it's that what you've just got to think about all the time. So I was a bit sort of, you know, remiss on doing that, if I'm being honest with you. Another thing as well is I've got more than enough gardening work on at this point in time. I've just took on another house clearance as well, so that's keeping me occupied. And in a weird sort of way, there's no room. There is room, don't get me wrong, and I can make room and I can book things in, but I'm finding now that I'm getting where I'm having that little bit more time off on the weekends and I'm enjoying it. But then if I do get the work coming in, and it's the same if I get house clearance work or gutters or exterior cleaning or, you know, garden maintenance, I'll just find time for it, because I still am of that mindset of, yeah, make hay while it shines. But at the same time, to get the exterior cleaning, I've got to spend 400 quid to get it. And then, you know, there's no sort of tallying on whether it comes in or not. So it's one of them, would you take, you know, if you're busy enough as it is and earning good money as it is, would you sort of take that gamble? So that's one of the sort of things as well. So I wouldn't class the business as failing. It technically on paper it is. It's not doing what it should be doing. But in the grand scheme of things, I look at my business as a whole. I don't look at just the exterior. I do, for the sense of these videos, but all the money comes out of one pot and it goes into one pot. And I always think like the SGM-garden is all one umbrella sort of term. So that's how I sort of look at it, and I think, well, you know, it might not, you know, one area might be low but the others are high. And the good thing as well is all the kit, there's no running costs to my exterior cleaning bit. It's not like I'm paying a subscription or specialist insurance, or I've took out another van for it, or, you know, it's not like, it's nothing like that at all, if I'm being honest with you. But it is money that's sat in the container. So I'm making it sound like I've done no exterior cleaning work at all. I have, in fact, and I am earning a decent little chunk of money of it. Admittedly, it's not as much as last time this year, but there is, and it's what I'm finding as well. It's useful. It's useful because this is what fits in with the image for my business, which I wanted all along. which is that I can be a point of contact for, you know, so if I take on a gardening customer, a new customer, and they say to me, oh, do you know anybody who could do the windows or the power washing? I say, yeah, I can sort that for you. So it's not, you know, it's good for them because they've got one person they can trust who can get all the work done. So there's been jobs like that, and there's been repeat jobs, people ringing up for power washing work, who I do the power washing every year, you know, stuff like that. So it is good, and it is bringing the money in, and it's bringing the work in, which is probably more important. But like I said, it's one of them where it's just the advertising, it's just pushing it. Another thing as well, while we're on the subject of it, is myself and the exterior cleaning. It's when you get busy. I never used to sort of understood it until recently, probably the last couple of years, is when people used to say, I wish there was more hours in a day, you know, it's just weeks don't, and you know, no time in the day, and I can see it now, I really can. The days are just so short. I'm not even taking into account the shortening days, because we're in the peak time of the season now. We're halfway through the year. I'm on about, you know, by the time you go out and do your actual work, I've got no other time for other paid work, if you get what I mean. Don't get me wrong, I can always fit it in, but it's at this point I've just got so much on, and even when I've got quiet space in my diary, you know, towards the end of the month and it's the start of the month, well, by the end of the month that's filled up with gardening work. So another thing as well is, I like an easy life, and maybe this is me getting a bit lazy, but I like having the, you know, I can keep the big mower in the back of my van, so the still mower, the little still roller mower, and then I've got all my setup in there, and I can tackle pretty much any jobs with that. And the majority of my work, the van stays like that. Yeah, there's jobs where I know I have to take clippings or waste, so I'll either take the trailer and keep the stuff in the van, or if I don't need the trailer, I'll just take, you know, the big mower out of the van. So for the majority of my work, I don't really need, you know, to swap stuff around. But with the exterior cleaning, it's a complete swap. And when you've just got one job, this is why I try and clump it all together if I can, because if you have one job that's sort of, you know, you've got to go back, empty the van, and then load it all up again. And don't get me wrong, I don't think, I won't take it on because I can't be arsed. But when you're starting early and finishing late, because you have to empty the whole of the van to then load it back up again with other stuff, that's when it gets a bit, you know, starts getting old, put it that way. And it's the same with like keeping everything clean and tidy. This is why, if I could, I'd love to have a separate van, but it isn't going to happen, I don't think, because the exterior cleaning, you don't want grass clippings and just crap all over your stuff. And in my van, I try and keep it as clean as possible, but you know, you only have to put something down on the floor and you've got grass clippings. And I'm not on about loads, I'm on about just like the, you know, the fine stuff, the stuff that once you've swept it, you still see it. So it's not dead in the water, it's just at this point in time during the summer season, I've just got so much on. I really have. It's just, this year is for me, and I was seeing Machinery Nation put polls up, and they put a poll up today about the weather. Has the weather affected your work negatively, affected your work positively, or, you know, not sure? And the majority of people would pick that the weather had positively affected their work, as in it's been busy no matter what. And it's the same with me. It's just so busy at the moment. There's just so much on, and I've got so much on myself in my personal life that I just can't. Like I said, I can squeeze stuff in, but I'm booking it in later and later and later. But it's not, you know, I'm not moaning at all really. So what are the plans for the exterior cleaning business? Well, it's always going to be run alongside anyway, and what I'm hoping to do this season, what I'm hoping to do when it comes to winter, I'm in two minds. This winter I've got a few things planned. I want to try and take a break away if I can, and I know I've got a holiday coming up. I think there's a robot event that I want to go to, so I know I'm going to have some time away anyway, and then I want to take some other time away as well. And I've got some stuff, that I've been putting off, like jobs that it's like this. I want to get the van, I'm hoping to get the van sorted before winter, get the lights put in it and get it set. I'm hoping to do that before, but there's other stuff that I want to do. So I'm thinking to myself, do I use winter as a way to catch up and just have a break and clear some time? Because even though the winter time, according to people, there's no gardening, there's nothing to be doing in winter, I'm still busy over winter. And even with my gardening customers, I always book in. I always say to all of them about a once a month visit. It's majority of them I'm there at least once a month, so there always is work for me over winter. But what I'm thinking at the moment is either don't advertise, save myself some money, and just take this this winter to sort of decompress. I've put money away anyway, so it's not like the cupboards are going to be better. I've got a wage put away anyway, and then what work that I can find or what work comes my way, because you never know. I've never had winters where I say I'm quiet. I'm always sort of busy over winter, but I'm hoping to have a bit more free time this winter, just chill out and decompress, go away on holiday, because it's been a hard season. Even now it's been a hard season. I think it's going to be, I don't mean hard as in, it's been terrible. I mean, it's just been plenty of work and the weather. And it's like, who knows when we get to winter, are we just going to have the massive downpour like we had? Because was it September when it started? So we're just going to have that again, where it just tips it down from September right through till April again. I don't know, I bloody hope not. So it's like I said, I am thinking about that, and I'm thinking about that going ahead as to, do I want, just decompress this year, take some time for myself, get ready for the start of the season. Ironically enough, it's January and February I find the quiet, probably so much the end of January and February is the quietest month. But last year, I was in hospital last year, this year, so next year hopefully I won't be, shouldn't be, I'm not planning on it. Or the flip side is what I've thought about, is pushing the exterior cleaning business this winter, and I'll say what I'm going to do, and then you guys, if you've got work that's specialist, maybe it'll help you. So what I'm thinking about doing this winter is, again, another business card drop. So get the the gutter clearing cards everywhere this winter, and the leaflets, get them pinned up. So that's my free advertising sorted. And then the next one is, I'm going to look into checker trade. Now I've heard other people who do very well off it, and the cost of it compared to the 400 quid for the paper is very, very low compared to that. I think it's a tiered system, so the more you pay, the more you get back, in air quotes. So we'll see on that. But I am looking at doing a checker trade or something similar. I probably will stick with checker trade because it's a little bit more specialist, the exterior cleaning. I wouldn't do checker trade for a garden. People tend not to sort of go online, just to get a bloke just to mow a bit of lawns. But on checker trade, I'm thinking it could be valuable to have it for the exterior cleaning. Just fill it with good before and afters, and hopefully develop, on that. And I've had a look around in my local area. The people who do the other work, not many advertise on that, so it could be a little thing. And don't get me wrong, I have heard lots and lots of good things and lots of bad things. I've heard some right horror stories about people getting hounded to death, and to be fair, they haven't really struck a chord with me so far, but we'll see. The thing is, I'm thinking to myself, well, if I was going to advertise the gutter clearing business over winter, there's pretty much 3 months: December, January and Feb. Well, November, December, January and February. So that's 4. So that's 1,600, well, probably 1,500 quid in advertising alone, and that's ridiculous. That is proper. It's proper. It's bordering on being a piss taker, isn't it, that, just for advertising. So that 4 months, you know, November, December, January, February, that 4 months of advertising is 1,500 quid. So I've got to do, do quite a bit of work to get that back. So I'm thinking about maybe spending 500 quid on a checker trade, maybe on Google Ads. Another thing I'm thinking of doing as well is Facebook. I'm thinking about setting up a separate Facebook group for the exterior cleaning. I'm even thinking about a rebrand for it, because Your Gutters, I don't know why I know why I picked that name, but it really does sort of corral you into like one thing. So I'm thinking about changing the name and then getting a Facebook business page set up and just literally use it to its advantage. So all the free groups, just create a post and just share it. Community post, just share it once a week, and then just just see what work can come off like the organic growth like that. And if it is I have to top it up, well, I've got that pot, haven't I? That's how I'm looking at it in my head. I've almost got that pot of money which I can use to just sort of top it up if I need to. So that's where we are with the exterior cleaning. It's on a back burner, and this is another thing. If you're thinking about setting up a separate side to your business or a separate business yourself, just remember you're on your own, and it's so hard. It really is. It's not hard in itself, but it's just time consuming. I think in a way, maybe like for somebody like me, I probably would have been better having putting some of the equipment on the tick, and then I've got that motivating factor. You've got this expense, you've got this bill, just to keep pushing me to get it done. I think the exterior cleaning, I think if you've got staff and they're willing to learn, or you've got the time to sort of take a step back, I think that'd be brilliant, or if you're just starting out. But when you've got your established business and you're busy, or it's really hard. And maybe it's my sort of inner personality. I've always said this, I'm not lazy, but I am lazy. I always pick the easiest way no matter what. And I think to myself sometimes, is this me being late, where I've got all this gardening work and I can earn X amount, but yeah, if I just push that little bit harder, took the gamble, spent the money. And that's another thing, you're spending, for me, and you probably won't have this, you might have more sensible papers around you or different avenues, but it's just the thing, you've got to spend that much to get maybe that much back. So it's a gamble all the time. So let me know where you'd be on that, guys. As I said, it's always interesting to hear it. Have you got side hustles and side businesses, and how are they doing in comparison to the rest of your business? So we'll keep going, guys, and we'll keep plodding on. Have a good day.